We begin our report with civic duty and a trial that's never been seen before. Some time ago, 7 New Yorkers received a jury summons, and those 7 have made it through the screening process, which bounced scores of their fellow residents who opened the same kind of mail. Those 7 have been picked to decide whether Donald Trump broke the law. Another 5 will soon be picked, plus some alternates, in the case accusing the former president of falsifying business records as a part of an alleged cover-up of so-called hush money payments made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. In an indictment filed over a year ago, prosecutors accused Trump of hiding the true intention of payments to his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, who worked to silence a potentially politically damaging story about Trump ahead of the 2016 presidential election. Trump has pleaded not guilty and tried Tuesday to explain away the allegation that he falsified business records.
I was paying a lawyer and marked it down as a legal expense. Some accountant, I didn't know, marked it down as a legal expense. That's exactly what it was. And you get indicted over that? I should be right now in Pennsylvania, in Florida, in many other states, North Carolina, Georgia, campaigning.
CBS News Chief Election and Campaign Correspondent Robert Costa joins me now. Bob, what can you tell us about those 7 jurors that were selected and sworn in?
Good to be with you, John, from here outside the courthouse where former President Trump spent all day. 7 jurors have been selected. You have 4 men and 3 women at this point. They come from a variety of different backgrounds, a nurse, a teacher, someone who works at a law firm, among others. These are everyday New Yorkers, and they've said to the court today, speaking to both the prosecutors and the defense, that they are ready to serve as impartial jurors, that they have their own views. They consume news from different places. Some of them read liberal publications. Some read more traditional publications like the New York Times and Washington Post. Some read New York broadsheets like the New York Post, or some watch Fox News channel. And the prosecutors and former President Trump and his legal team were watching all of this today, and ultimately 7 were chosen. The big picture here is that this judge, Juan Merchan, is trying to move quickly to get a jury together.
Bob, what do you make of the former president's comments? We played them just before coming to you, that he was simply, quote, that he marked it down as a legal expense. How does that fit, hold up, or even relate to the case against him?
This whole case comes down to what exactly these payments meant and whether there was criminal intent and how they were characterized. The prosecutors are arguing that by characterizing them as a legal expense, Trump was misleading accountants, he was misleading election officials, and ultimately misleading the American people by not disclosing that he was, in essence, through his fixer Michael Cohen, making payments to a porn star so she would stay quiet during the heat of a presidential campaign in October of 2016. Trump and his legal team are arguing this isn't a crime. It is in no way even near a felony. And oftentimes making false business payments like this, or legal payments, would not be classified as a felony. But the prosecutor, the Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, is arguing there was criminal intent, arguing there was a broader criminal scheme at play to kill stories that could have an impact on Trump's campaign.
The former president also said he should be campaigning. What do the next 6 weeks in a courtroom look like for candidate Trump, and how does it affect his campaign?
Today is a revealing snapshot of what it's going to likely look like in the coming weeks. One moment that really stood out to me was kind of a personal exchange I had with the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, today here on the street just behind me, John. I ran into the mayor and I said, well, what do you make of this, Mayor? So many protesters yesterday, almost nobody here today, a few dozen people, some pro-Trump, some anti-Trump. It was quiet here in Lower Manhattan, even though a former president standing trial. And he said, you know, I've actually been thinking a lot about that, Bob. And he said that I'm looking at maybe not having as many police officers here when it's quieter. Of course, there are going to be high-profile days for this trial when Hope Hicks, the former communications aide, comes to testify, Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels, that whole cast of characters. Those will be buzzy days, maybe a higher security presence. But on days like this, where it's all about jury selection, New York's trying to adjust and think through, what does this all mean? It's unprecedented to have someone of Trump's stature, a former president, a celebrity, having this kind of trial in the middle of a busy part of one of the biggest cities in the world.
Robert Costa for us down there in Lower Manhattan. That was great that you talked to the mayor. Thank you, Bob.